Imagine this for a moment. You're a man over 60, maybe 70, maybe even older. You've worked hard your entire life. You've carried responsibility on your shoulders. You've taken care of others. And now, in these years that are supposed to be your time, you wake up one morning and realize something has gone quiet inside you. That effortless rise you once trusted, the proof of life that greeted you without effort, is suddenly gone. No warning, no explanation, just silence. And deep inside, a thought creeps in. Maybe it's over. Maybe I'm finished. But here's the truth I need you to hear before anything else. Your body is not broken. Your manhood has not left you. What you've lost is not ability, only the signal that once came naturally. With the right touch, the right breath, and the right habits, that signal can be awakened again. I am Dr. Maya Kapoor, and for more than 30 years, I have worked with men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, who walked into my office convinced their best days were behind them. Men like David, who whispered that he hadn't felt alive in years. Men like Harold, who told me he didn't care about sex anymore. He just wanted to wake up and feel like himself. Men like Walter, who sat slumped with defeat written across his face. And yet, when they discovered what I am about to share with you, something extraordinary happened. They didn't need risky pills. They didn't need surgery. They didn't need to feel ashamed. They needed only their own hands, their own breath, and a few minutes each day to flip the hidden switches inside their body. Because that's what these 3 points truly are, switches. When touched correctly, they restore blood flow, awaken nerves, and remind the body that it still knows exactly how to rise. Most men believe aging steals erections permanently, but science and experience prove otherwise. Deep inside, your body remembers. The nerves are not dead. The blood vessels are not gone. They are simply resting, like lights in a room you haven't entered in years. Think of it. The power still runs. The switch still works. But because no one has flipped it, the room stays dark. Erections work the same way. The current is there. You just haven't touched the switch. And the first switch lies just above your pubic bone, a place most men never think to press. Beneath that small stretch of lower abdomen runs a network of blood vessels and nerves that feed the pelvis. When you breathe deeply and press gently, something stirs. At first, it feels like nothing more than a hum, a faint warmth. But with time, the warmth grows, circulation returns, and the body remembers. I saw this in Walter, 67 years old, who came to me defeated. "Doc," he said, "I think I've lost it. I haven't woken up strong in years." I guided him to place his hand on that spot above his pubic bone and simply breathe into it, not to force anything, not to chase a result, but to make contact with his own body. Within minutes, his eyes widened. He felt a faint rush of heat. 2 weeks later, he returned, smiling for the first time, telling me, "Every morning I feel something stirring again. I thought it was gone, but it's coming back." That is the power of this first point. It's not magic. It's biology, reawakened through awareness and patience. But this is only the beginning, because the second switch is hidden even deeper, in a place most men ignore, the soft space between the scrotum and the anus, the perineum. In Eastern medicine, it's been honored for thousands of years. In the West, we barely mention it. And yet, when this point is awakened, it can transform everything. The perineum acts like a valve. When it's tight and neglected, blood flow is blocked, nerves go quiet, circulation slows. But when it is pressed gently, breathed into, softened, the valve opens. And when it opens, blood that has been trapped begins to flow again. James 71, A Marine veteran, once sat across from me and confessed, "Doc, it feels like the lights went out down there. I don't feel anything anymore." I taught him to sit on a rolled towel, to let that gentle pressure touch the perineum while he breathed slowly. Days later, he called me, astonished. "Something's happening. It's faint, but I feel a pulse again." Weeks later, his mornings were no longer empty. He told me, "I feel alive." That flicker was enough to restore his hope. And hope, once lit, changes everything. This is why I tell my patients, you are not finished. You are simply disconnected, and connection can be restored. These points are not about performance. They are about communication. They are ways of reminding your body that you still believe in it, still trust it, still care enough to touch with patience instead of frustration. And when your body receives that message, it answers. Because inside every man, no matter his age, the spark is still waiting. But there is one more switch, one that almost every man overlooks. It doesn't sit on your groin at all. It runs along the crease of your inner thigh, where the thigh meets the lower abdomen. And hidden beneath that line are two of the body's most important highways, the femoral artery and the femoral nerve. Together, they deliver blood and sensation directly to your manhood. Ignore them, and the road narrows. Awaken them, and the traffic flows again. The femoral pathway is often forgotten because men think of their thighs as nothing more than muscles for walking or climbing stairs. But tucked inside that crease, right where your inner thigh meets the lower belly, lies the direct highway that feeds your manhood. Over the years, as circulation slows and muscles stiffen from long hours of sitting, this road grows narrower, traffic becomes sluggish, and the result is predictable: less volume, less sensitivity, less strength in the mornings. But when you gently trace along this line with your fingertips, pausing where the tissue feels tender or tight, you begin to open the road again. Blood flows more freely, nerves begin to spark, and your body responds. I remember Earl, a 68-year-old truck driver who had spent decades behind the wheel. By the time he came to see me, he felt cut off from his own lower body. "Doc," he said, "I thought my thighs were just for carrying me around. I never knew they had anything to do with what happens in the bedroom." I showed him how to breathe slowly while applying gentle pressure along that inner thigh crease. At first, he laughed nervously, telling me it felt strange, but a week later he returned, grinning. "I feel warmer down there. It's like the blood is moving again." By the second week, he was waking up with strength he thought was gone forever. And what he said next struck me most. "I don't just feel more in my body. I feel more like a man again." That is the gift of this third point. It doesn't only restore circulation, it restores confidence, presence, and dignity. Together, the three switches above the pubic bone, the perineum, and the inner thigh create a circuit that reconnects your body to itself. Press them daily, breathe into them with patience, and you flip the power back on. But as powerful as these switches are, they cannot carry the current alone. If the wiring of the house is corroded, the lights may flicker. That is why you must support these points with simple, everyday habits. Habits so small you may dismiss them, yet so powerful they turn sparks into lasting fire. The first habit is breathing. Not the shallow chest breathing we do when stressed, but deep belly breathing through the nose. Just 5 minutes each morning lowers blood pressure, relaxes vessels, and increases nitric oxide, the very molecule your erections depend on. The second habit is hydration. Begin each day with a glass of warm water. After a night's rest, your blood thickens. Warmth thins it gently, helping circulation move freely to every corner of your body, especially where it matters most. The third is sugar control. That nightly dessert may seem harmless, but sugar quietly injures the lining of your arteries. I've had men tell me that cutting out ice cream before bed made their morning erections fuller within weeks. The fourth habit is movement. A simple stroll after dinner, nothing intense, activates the natural pump in your legs that keeps blood flowing evenly through the night. And the fifth is attitude. If you rush through these points with frustration, your nervous system resists. But if you approach with respect, patience, even gratitude, your body listens. That difference in mindset can transform everything. I think of Leonard, 69, who once told me he no longer cared much about sex. "I only want to know my body still responds," he said quietly. I encouraged him to practice the 3 points with patience, to drink his warm water, to walk after dinner, to cut the sugar. Weeks later, he sent me a message, voice shaking with relief. "It happened. No pills, just me. I know now I'm not finished." That single morning changed not just his body, but the way he looked at his future. Because once you feel even a flicker of strength returning, you realize you're still alive, still capable, still a man who matters. Science explains why. Erections are simply the partnership of 2 systems, blood flow and nerve signals. When those systems are open, mornings rise without effort. When they are blocked, mornings fall silent. The 3 switches reopen the roads. The 5 habits keep those roads clear. It's that simple. And yet, so many men give up without ever knowing these truths. They believe silence means the end, when in fact, silence is only an invitation to listen more closely. Now that you understand the points and the habits, the question becomes, will you take action? Because knowledge without action is nothing but dust. The men who transform are the ones who choose to begin. Not perfectly, not all at once, but with one step, one breath, one press of a switch. And soon, the spark grows into a flame that lights not only the body, but the spirit. Whenever I share these truths, there are always men who nod politely, yet carry doubt in their eyes. They wonder if something so simple could possibly work for them, or if they are somehow beyond saving. I understand that fear because I have sat across from countless men who felt the same. But I have also witnessed what happens when they decide to try. Harold, after 10 years of silence, woke one morning and wept with joy because his body finally answered. Leonard, who thought his manhood was finished, felt warmth and sensation return until hope itself became his strength. Earl, the truck driver, rediscovered not just firmer mornings, but a calmer mind and lighter steps in his day. These stories are not miracles. They are proof that when you show up with patience, your body responds. Age does not erase your vitality. It only asks whether you are willing to touch the switches that keep it alive. And here's the final lesson. Real change never comes from trying something once. It comes from choosing every day to show up for yourself. Pressing those 3 points once may spark hope, but returning to them daily with breath and care is what builds fire. Drinking warm water each morning, walking gently after dinner, leaving the sugar for another day, breathing into your belly, respecting your body instead of rushing it. These small acts create rhythm. And rhythm is what turns fragile sparks into lasting flames. I have seen men not only wake up harder, but also sleep deeper, laugh more freely, carry themselves with confidence, and look their partners in the eye without shame. Because this journey is not about chasing youth. It is about reclaiming dignity. Walter once told me, "Doc, I feel like I've been given back a part of myself I thought was gone." That is the gift waiting for you. Not a return to being 25, but a return to presence, to connection, to life. Every time you place a hand above your pubic bone, every time you breathe into the perineum, every time you trace the inner thigh line, you are not just awakening circulation. You are telling yourself, I still believe in me. I still matter. That message, repeated day after day, changes everything. It changes the way your body responds, the way your mind feels, the way you walk into each morning. So tonight, when you lie down, or tomorrow morning when you rise, I want you to begin. Place your hand gently, breathe slowly, and flip the first switch. Do it again the next day and the next. Stay with it. Let the rhythm become yours. Because once you do, you will discover the truth that countless men have already found. Your prime is not behind you. It is alive right now, waiting for you to claim it. And when you do, you won't just wake up harder. You will wake up stronger, prouder, and more connected to the man you truly are. This is Dr. Maya Kapoor. If this message spoke to you, share in the comments which step you'll start with first. And don't forget to subscribe. Share this with a friend who needs hope. Your body is waiting for your signal. Give it now and let tomorrow morning answer.